Hello Nutri subscribers, welcome back to Nutriverse Academy. So in previous episodes we have learned about principles and basis of nutrigenomics and tools of nutrigenomics, right? And also we have learned about nanotechnology. That means we have entirely covered nanotechnology and nutrigenomics. So today we are going to discuss about role of nutrigenomics on metabolic disorders. Okay, so generally there are many metabolic disorders like in this chapter we are covering the metabolic disorders like CVD, hypertension, and type 2 diabetes, and lipid metabolism, and inflammatory diseases or disorders, cancer, and obesity also. In that we'll learn about the obesity hormones like leptin and ghrelin. So this is modulating of obesity. We'll learn at the last. Okay, so generally we are going to learn about CVD, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, lipid metabolism, cancer, inflammatory disorders, and obesity, and also the potential role of different nutrients and hormones like modulating of the obesity. Entire topic about obesity we'll learn. Okay, so now we are going to cover about in this episode. Okay, we are going to cover about CVD, and in upcoming episodes we'll cover about hypertension, diabetes, lipid metabolisms, inflammation disorders, and cancer, and the last topic we'll cover about obesity. So generally these whatever I'm going to say is about 6 marks answer, 4 marks answer, but I'll explain in a clear infra manner, so you can learn, you can also what you will say, you can remember permanently. Okay, so in that manner I'll go, that's why I'm going to explain in different genre of the episodes. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about CVD. So let's discuss it. So generally CVD is nothing but a group of disorders that affecting both heart and blood vessels, right? So cardiovascular disorder is nothing but, or a disease is nothing but, that is affecting entire heart and blood vessels. There are many types of CVDs like coronary artery disease, CAD, and also we have this hypertension, and also we have myocardial infarctions, right? So I think, I hope you all know about this CADs and hypertension, myocardial infarctions, right? So next also we have cardiomyopathy, and we also have atherosclerosis, and also we have heart failure. So there are number of disorders that is mainly affecting both heart and blood vessels. Okay, so in that, for now, nutrigenomics, before I want to talk about CVD, I want to talk about nutrigenomics. As you know, the interaction between nutrients and genes, right? So in entire metabolic disorders we are talking about gene diet interaction and gene interaction, how the gene is variating and how the preventive, that means how this nutrition is preventing or reducing the diseases. Okay, so the entire topic will cover in that manner only. So what we will cover first is gene interaction. Okay, first is gene interaction, next is gene variation or diet interaction. Okay, and next is reducing or preventing the risk. Prevention of risk. So only these type of topics will cover in the entire metabolic disorders. Okay, first and coming to these types, so we have number of disorders that is mainly affecting both heart and blood vessels, but in CVD we'll mostly cover about this plaque. As you know, atherosclerosis is the formation of the plaque which narrowing the arteries and blood vessels, hardening of the arteries, right? So generally how this plaque is formed, I'll erase this and I'll say. So how this plaque is formed? So we are discussing about CVD, right? In that one of the disorder or disease is atherosclerosis, in which that mainly the cholesterol, the fat substance, the lipid metabolism is all included in that. So that's why I'm taking this topic as plaque. As you know, atherosclerosis is the formation of the plaque. So how this plaque is formed? It is a sticky substance. It is a sticky substance which is made up of fat, cholesterol, calcium and other materials which is built up in the arteries. So this is mainly due to the development of high cholesterol. So why this is developed? Due to the high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and smoking and inflammation. So this is due to the formation of the formation of the plaque which will build up in the arteries. Why this is formed means due to the high cholesterol, blood pressure, smoking and inflammation. So generally how this affects? Generally it narrows arteries and reduces the blood flow and increases the risk of heart attacks and stroke, which leads to atherosclerosis, right? So which leads to atherosclerosis. So this leads to atherosclerosis. So generally what's our topic? The role of nutrigenomics in CVD. So generally one of the disease called atherosclerosis, which is formed due to the narrowing of the blood vessels due to the accumulation of plaque. How this plaque is formed? Due to high cholesterol, blood pressure, smoking or inflammation, whatever the reason is. The formation of the plaque is how it is built up with fat, cholesterol and calcium and other material substances. So that leads to atherosclerosis, which is also leading to heart attacks and stroke. Okay, so now we have to reduce this all. That means we have to reduce fat, we have to reduce cholesterol and also we have to implement the flow of the calcium. Okay, so how these all implementing? With the help of gene interaction, diet interaction and afterwards we'll talk about prevention of the risk. Okay, so how these nutrigenomics interacting with this all, that we'll look into. Now we have to talk about how the fat, cholesterol and inflammation we have to reduce, right? So first we have to know about this all. How we have to reduce is the main objective of the nutrigenomics, right? So generally there is a lipid metabolism, right? So there will be a lipid metabolism. In which the genes will identify and affects the cholesterol and fat metabolism. So in lipid metabolism there will be some genes which identifies both cholesterol and fat metabolism and helps to regulate the heart health, that means helps to regulate the heart health and reduces the risk of the heart diseases. And also there will be some genetic pathways which influences the inflammation that linked with inflammation, which is a key factor for the CVD. Okay, these generally there are some genes which helps to identify the inflammation and also influences in the pathway to reduce the inflammation. Okay, and now we have to talk about the genes that are revolving or revolving around these mechanisms to reduce the risk of the CVDs. Okay, so what are those genes? Now we'll discuss. Okay, so generally there are so many of interactions in that polygenetic influence. That means first influence is polygenetic influence. Polygenetic influence means many or multiple genes. Poly means multiple and genetics means genes. So generally there are many or multiple genes which affects or which influences the CVDs. For example, APOE gene, LDLR gene, PCSK9 gene, or CETP gene. So these are some of the genes that regulates cholesterol and blood pressure and inflammation. These are examples. So in polygenetic influence, that means there are multiple genes, for example like APO, LDR, PCSK9 and CTP genes. So generally these are the genes which regulates the cholesterol and blood pressure and inflammation. Okay, and inflammation. So generally APO gene is mainly influences the lipid metabolism. So in lipid metabolism we will say about fat, right? So like that. So in gene diet interactions there are certain genetic variations affects how the body responds to fats, carbs and other nutrients, which is impacting the CVD risk. Okay, so there are also epigenetic influence. So this is for the polygenetic influence. Again I'll say polygenetic influence means poly means multiple genes that influences and reduces the risk of CVD. So for example APO, LDR, PCSK9 and CTP genes, these are some of the genes which influences the or reduces the risk of cholesterol, blood pressure and inflammation. So that is about polygenetic influence. And the second one is gene diet interactions, which there are some genes which interacts with certain nutrients, macronutrients like fats and carbs. So the second one is gene diet interaction. So nutrients which influences carbs, fats and other nutrients for reducing of risk of CVDs. Okay, and this is second one. General, right? So how there are some genes which influences with the nutrients. That means the diet we are taking, the influence of the gene like carbs, fats and other nutrients to reduce the risk of CVDs. So there is no broad thing about gene diet interaction. And next is epigenetic influence. So third one is epigenetic influence. That means with the help of lifestyle factors like diet, smoking and exercise, we can modify the gene expression gene expression without change of DNA. Okay, without change of DNA, which influences the heart health. So that is about epigenetic influence, as you already studied in the nutrigenomics. Okay, so like this we have the three parts, and also we have some another one is called genetic variation and cholesterol. Okay, and as I said, the lipid genes like APOP, I'll write here. Another one, the fourth one is genetic variance and cholesterol. Okay, so in that, genes like APOE plus PCSK9, these general, as I said, APOE generally influences lipid metabolism, which responds to stains affecting CVD's treatment. Okay, so generally these genes which influences lipid metabolism mainly focusing on or responding to stains that is affecting CVD treatment. Okay, so in genetic variance and cholesterol, we will have two types of genes, APOE gene and PCSK9 gene. So generally these two genes are influencing lipid metabolism, which helps to respond to stains that is affecting CVD treatment. Okay, so that is about genetic variance and cholesterol. And next we also have hypertension. In hypertension we have genes like ACE and AGT, which affects blood pressure and regulates blood pressure regulation and influencing salt sensitivity and hypertension risk. So in hypertension, what are the genes we have? ACE plus AGT. So what these two are doing? These affects blood pressure regulation, here I will write blood pressure regulation, and also influences salt sensitivity. Okay, and risk of hypertension Okay, so in hypertension we have two types of genes, ACE and AGT. This helps to regulate this will affect to regulate blood pressure, and also influences the salt sensitivity, and also reduces the risk of hypertension. And the sixth factor we have to reduce inflammation, right? That means oxidative stress plus inflammation, we have to reduce this, right? So for this, what type of genes are regulating the inflammation? Generally CRP plus IL-6. So these are the genes which regulates inflammation, which is the key factor for atherosclerosis and diseases. Atherosclerosis and heart diseases. Okay, which is a key factor. So these are the 6 factors that is mainly discussed for the gene interaction. Okay, now how the diet, as I already discussed in diet interaction also, by giving personalized nutrition to them. So now we have to reduce or prevent, we have already, so these are the genes that we have to reduce. So what type of nutrition we need to take? That is the main theme, right? So we have discussed about genomics, now we have to discuss about right? So what type of nutrition we have to take to reduce these 6 factors, whatever it is. Okay, the first one we have to take is omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids, as these have EPA and DHA. EPA and DHA genes, which modulates gene expression which is related to inflammation and lipid metabolism. Okay, so in where we will see this omega-3 fatty acids in walnuts, flax seeds, fish oils or fatty fish. Okay, and the second one we have to take is polyphenols. Mainly these are antioxidants, that means we are reducing inflammation. Okay, which is mainly founded in berries, green tea, and next is dark chocolate. So generally the influences SIRT1 and NRF2. This is not important, but I am saying, which is reducing for oxidative stress and atherosclerosis. So these are the genes. So this is the main important nutrition that we need to take for reducing inflammation, lipid metabolisms and oxidative stress. And also we have number of nutritions like soluble fibers, which alters the gene expressions of low density lipoprotein receptors. That means for to lower the bad cholesterol, which is mainly found in oats, legumes and apples. So I'll write headings and I'll explain, and the entire notes you can download it from the description where I'll provide it. Okay, I'll provide in the description, just download it. And we also have the channel and Telegram channel and WhatsApp channel also, so you can also join there to have notes for free, which is free. And next the third one we have is soluble fibers. Okay, soluble fibers where to reduce the LDR gene. Okay, to reduce the LDR gene, that means the gene expression, to alter the gene expression, which is mainly found in oats, legumes and apples, to reduce the bad cholesterol. And next we also have monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, which modulates gene called PPAR, which influences the lipid metabolisms. Mono is polyunsaturated fats. So these are mainly found in olive oils, avocado and nuts. Okay, this mainly modulates PPAR gene and influencing lipid metabolism and reducing the inflammation. And also we have magnesium, potassium, folate. These are mainly found in green leafy vegetables, eggs and bananas, nuts and those are all. And also we will have this resveratrol, which is mainly found in red grape vines and red grapes. Okay, and also we have probiotics and prebiotics. And also for inflammation, obviously we'll take turmeric, and also we'll take low glycemic diet index. Finally, low glycemic diet and DASH diet obviously for CVDs, and Mediterranean diet. So these are the diets we will generally prescribe to the patients. Okay, so this is all about the nutrigenomics, how the genes are interacting, the inflammation, oxidative stress, and lipid metabolism, cholesterols and fats, and how the diet or the nutrition is influencing the genes to reduce the risk of diseases or CVDs. Okay, so this is about the role of nutrigenomics in CVD. In the next class we'll talk about hypertension, and in mostly we have covered hypertension in CVD itself. So after that we'll talk about type 2 diabetes, and then we'll talk about lipid inflammatory disorders. Okay, so yes, if you have any doubts please comment below, and do like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more updates.